Today we have Yvonne Malafont, who is going to be talking to us about how your business might benefit from self-care and taking care of your mind, body, and soul at the same time, and reducing your stress levels, reducing your cortisol levels. And welcome, Yvonne Malafont, to the Radiant Business Podcast.
Thank you, Terry and Jason. It's great to be here.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason Ross. I'm the owner and founder of Radiant Freedom Digital Marketing, which I founded 11 years ago, and have been helping small and medium business owners with their digital marketing, specializing in websites and high website conversions, search engine optimization. Joining me is co-host Terry Cleary.
Yes, I am a voiceover artist, a small business owner myself, and I also am a life coach. And it's very nice to, talk with another life coach today, just to hear what they do for other people, especially in their businesses, because stress really can affect your business. So Yvonne, tell us what you do and how you are helping other people in their businesses.
Well, as a counselor life coach, as an intake assessment session, first 30 minutes are always free, and
Nice.
people can decide whether to continue or not. No pressure. I begin with where they're at, if they're comfortable, at home plate, so to speak, thinking of baseball, say. What's in their face and the major pain in their life, and going through the pain of change. So think of a ship in the ocean. It's heading a certain direction. Maybe it's unhealthy. And part of our job is to tweak that ship and turn it to a healthier direction. So beginning looking at how are you sleeping? Okay, what are some solutions for that? Better sleep. Food, healthier food. Exercise, stress management, anger management, and dealing with life, relationships, with work, communicating with the boss, say, things like that. So we tweak that ship so we're heading toward a healthier direction, and the work-life balance is improving. And it's just slowly. The tweaks are slow. It takes time. And so that's where we begin. So they're beginning to see, they're encouraged. It kind of like gets the ball rolling because their wheels are sort of stuck, and we try to get out of the mud and go to a healthier direction. That's what we're about.
Yeah, and for business owners and entrepreneurs, what we'd say would be the one thing that has the most impact on their ability to really drive their business growth, well, without losing their family and personal life and friends and everything?
Well, that's a really good question. A lot of business owners may tend to be workaholics, and people want to make money, they want to survive. It's not easy. Yet to be able to work, do quality work, focused work, and then go home and be there for the family, partner, and children is very important. To be present. And then to be able to go to sleep at a decent time, leave the cell phone and apps out of the bedroom as much as possible, so you get a good quality sleep. And then get up in the morning fresh and ready to go back to work again. So finding these balances is not easy, but it's something we need to strive for daily.
Right. Yvonne, I actually coach the exact same thing, that sleep is one of the most important things, not only that you can do for your health, but for your everyday life and your relationships. Sleep actually helps you think. It helps your critical thinking. So if you're a business owner, you want to have access to that critical thinking because, there are things that come at you every day, all day long. Jason, you know that as well. And the other thing that I recommend, and I'm wondering if you do this as well, I recommend getting outside into nature at least 15 to 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, the
And
good
I
old,
don't mean like
touch.
outside on the streets. I mean in a park
Yeah, the good old
where
touch
all you
grass.
see is nature. Exactly. I think nature is a very powerful healer, and I think it helps reduce the stress levels, as you said, and helps reduce that cortisol. Do you recommend the same thing?
First, as a
Sorry.
business owner, one thing I can mention as to what you two have been talking about is I've experienced that personally. When there's been one of those nights where I've not had a good night's sleep, I feel it the next day. And I know
That's
that
right.
I'm not at my best. I'm slow, sluggish. It's taking me twice as long to get things done. I'm more likely to get distracted and just end up sitting there doom scrolling YouTube or something and doing unproductive things. Whereas,
Right.
I find if I'm going into that type of mode, even just turn off for like 15, 20, 30 minutes, take a little nap. And I find for the remainder of the afternoon, I'm much more productive and I get more done than if I try to push through that situation.
So
Yeah, I agree
Yvonne,
with both of you. Like a siesta is a good idea. The Spanish have it right. I just take
yeah,
a
cats.
half hour nap in the middle of the afternoon. Just go down if you can.
Yeah, be
I
more
find
like
that
your
very
cat is
helpful.
what we're saying. Be more
Be
like
more
your
like your
cat.
cat. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Because it does
And
help you. Am I right in saying that it helps you not only, think, but it does help you stay in the moment too when you have better sleep? I really do think it helps you be present as well.
yeah, yeah, presence is important, and getting in touch with nature, as you mentioned, Terry, is so vital each day. I'm a tree hugger. I love
Me too.
nature, and people look at me funny when I'm hugging trees. My stepfather taught me to hug trees, and
Go see the sequoias in Muir Woods Park. They're
we got
really big.
big trees here in
Oh
BC.
yeah, try the old growth cedars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't
There you
really
go.
wrap your arms around them. They're
There you
so
go.
big.
Yeah.
So when
And
you have,
also another thing, I'm a saunaholic, and so going to sauna is very important. Working out
so
and
that
hot
helps getting
tubbing,
rid of those impurities in your body, and
yeah,
that helps your
and
mind as
taking
well.
vitamin B3 as well,
Yeah, I
and
actually
going
did
to sauna.
the
That
interesting
helpful.
thing is I actually did a intensive sauna cleanse, and the organization that was managing that took an IQ test for me before the cleanse. Then I was in the cleanse program for about a good 2 to 3 months. And then at the end of it, they did another IQ test. My IQ jumped 22 points just by cleaning toxins out of my system.
Yes. Do you know what else?
I'll
Because
get that.
cortisol, and you touched on this, Yvonne, is that when there's cortisol running through your body from stress, and that can be from job, relationships, it doesn't matter. But when the cortisol levels are high in your body, not only does it affect your sleep, but it affects your IQ. So that's why, like in abusive relationships, people's cortisol levels are really, really high. And the same thing, they've done studies that show if you're in that kind of relationship and your cortisol levels are high, you will test lower on an IQ test. And then if you leave that situation, even immediately, you can test that same person again and their IQ goes up a few points, but it'll continue to go up over time the more you work on yourself and the less you are away from that stress and cortisol running in your body. And Jason, that must be the reason why that helped you, was also getting rid of some of that cortisol in your body.
Quite probably. And one thing that I can also say that to equate this back around to business is not only can that affect your personal productivity, but as a business owner, you probably have at least some employees potentially. And if you're under stress and you're putting down and they're getting under stress, then their productivity is also going down and your whole business is struggling from it. So
Right.
that's just become
One
a
of the
vicious cycle. And the more you're
Yeah.
under stress and your employees are under stress, the more more deeply they get under stress as productivity continues to fall.
That's right.
It
And I
settles
think
down.
that's why teaching compassion in a business is really important, because when you can connect with your employees in that way and understand that they may be going through the same thing, coming to them with empathy and compassion will help them be present in the moment and work better for you, do a better job for themselves. They'll be happier in their job, and reduce their stress. Am I right, Yvonne?
Yeah, I agree. And it brings to mind a famous Jewish theologian, Martin Buber, who talked in his book, I and Thou. He talked about how there are two kinds of relationships. There's I and it,
Right.
where, for myself, I look at you and you're kind of a means to an end. You can get me that job or that promotion or help me wiggle through here, and so you're an object. Where Buber talks about what's healthier is an I and thou, where you're the end, Terry, Jason, in yourself. That I'm not trying to get anything out of you. It's a relationship. The light of God, I see the light of God in you, and you're precious, you're made in the image of God, and you're loved, and there's grace, mercy. And, and then God is in the spaces.
Right.
And so there's a loving friendship. So in that sense, if we can look at our employees or employer with that kind of loving attitude, it'll go a long way.
Right. I think a lot of that is sort of missing, especially in my culture. I know both of you are in Canada, and Canada is seen as one of the nicest countries in the world. Whereas I know, but the appearance is to the rest of us that Canadians are very friendly people. However, my culture, on the other hand, I think is seen more as ego-driven. Egotistical, especially, that we're superior, even though we test lower on a whole bunch of things and so on and so forth. But gosh, I don't remember where I was going with that. But our culture,
Canada, USA,
our culture, our culture. Sorry, our culture does not lend itself to that sort of thought. It doesn't lend itself to compassion and empathy in the workplace a lot. And that translates to a lot of people, they take a job and then they just leave it. They take another job and they leave it. They take another job and they leave it because either the company itself has a culture that is negative, and employees can feel that energy. That this is what we're talking about. They can feel that energy, and if they don't want that energy, they're not going to stay. So this is why I think empathy and compassion actually need to be taught to executives so that they can understand, they have their own stress, but employees have it as well, and they probably have more stressors just because they're not making as much money and life is a little bit harder for them. So when we can treat them with respect and understand that, they need that same empathy and compassion and to be seen as a human being, not just an object who works for you, I think it creates a better culture all around and people are just much happier.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there, Terry. My only thing is I take each person as an individual. So I don't personally make generalizations about Americans. I know many lovely Americans, including you.
As do I.
And I know many lovely Canadians like Jason, So, and then there's people that aren't so friendly from both countries. So I always look at each individual. I'm not
exactly
where they're from or, and
but
I love America.
I guess you could say, safe to say, is every country has its 2%ers that nobody wants to have to deal with.
Well, and I was going to add
that one or two. That's true.
And I would add that every country does have an identity. It does. And even worldwide, even though we might have a different identity of ourselves, every other country, and I'll give an example of the UK. Visiting the UK, people ask me all the time about, our culture, and they will tell us, they've told me time and time again that my culture is egotistical. And so that's what I'm talking about, is that we do have an identity, whether we identify with it or not. Other countries do label. It's just a thing of, nature. People do label in that way. And so that's what I meant by the comment is.
Yeah. Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
to me, I think Americans are a bit more direct in their approach to relationships. Okay, I'm not judging it. I'm not judging. It's just an assessment, my opinion. Canadians and English tend to be more indirect in their approach.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. My friend Rob, on his honeymoon, took his wife down to a little country in the Caribbean, and I can't remember the name of it. And he was at this bar, and he was trying to order a drink, and the bartender was kind of in this freezer with his back to him. And he was just waiting patiently. And then this American came up and just said, "Hey, give me a beer, now." And he looked at Rob and said, "Oh, you're Canadian, aren't you? I could tell." It's just, for me, I don't mind a direct approach. I mean, sometimes that can really cut through the crap cake, so to speak.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I agree. I totally
where
agree.
the indirect or passive aggressive isn't healthy.
Agreed.
I'm
For
just
anyone.
saying that's a different way to look at it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
and I would definitely say that is one thing I
you
have
want to get
noticed.
snot hanging down your nose, wipe it off. Like, thank you. That's a gift.
And one thing I have noticed in
that's just my opinion.
The amount of times I've worked with Americans is they do tend to be more results focused. Get me results and get them
that
down.
like now.
Get it done.
You need
We want
that,
now.
especially if you're an entrepreneur starting out in a new business or you're running a small business. You need that because that's the way you're going to grow into a bigger, more stable and successful business.
That's right.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Now, to shift gears a little bit, another thing that also will deeply affect your stress and your ability to perform and maintain a healthy work-life balance is your physical health.
Yes.
Now, Yvonne, when we were talking last week, you mentioned an interesting story about your own personal health challenge. Maybe you could share that with.
Yeah, sure. During COVID, I had a lot of brain fog. I had trouble sleeping. I'd sleep an hour, wake up, and sleep another hour, wake up, and I was just walking zombie.
So did you have COVID-19?
No, I didn't actually, but just
you were just exhausted from all of it.
I was really nervous about catching COVID.
Okay.
I didn't get the shots. My wife and I made a decision, and people, some do, some don't. That's fine. I'm not judging anyone.
Personal preference, exactly.
That's fine. And but I mean, I was just really nervous and worried about, oh my gosh, this could be dangerous, So I was kind of a bit skittish, and so I had trouble sleeping. And so I was just walking around like a zombie. I had brain fog and I was overweight. And then a year and a half ago, my doctor checked me out. My A1C was about 9.7.
Ooh.
And he's like,
that's
"You're
quite high."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he put me on metformin and I started working out. Dr. Huberman, he recommended taking magnesium threonate with vitamin B6 and vitamin C, which I started taking. And the brain fog began to go away, and I was sleeping better. Also, vitamin B1 helped with sleep, taking 2 pills, 100 milligrams each. So I was sleeping better, and exercising, going to the sauna almost every day, about 4 or 5 times a week.
Nice.
And I love saunas. Yeah. And, with vitamin B3, niacin, the flushy kind.
I was involved in a cleanse program, sauna cleanse program I did as well. And,
you got to send me a link to that.
And one of the things that I was instructed about that is if you get the niacin kind, the flushing kind, part of that flush is actually your body expelling, buildup of radiation.
Yep. That's right. So opening your blood pores as well, like your blood veins, and sweating out lots of crap. So I make a long story short. So I began to lose weight. Next A1C was about 8.7. Then about 3 months after that, went down to like 7.1. No, 7.7, then 7.1. My doctor was really happy. And I'm going to go for another one next week. I've also been taking berberine and chromium as well. That's been quite
Yeah,
helpful.
chromium helps with weight as well.
Yeah. And berberine. It's from Asia. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've not heard of that, so I'll have to look that up.
You can read up on it. It's quite fun. I'm not a doctor, but I played one on television. It's quite interesting. And anyway, so I've lost some weight, and I'm feeling a lot better now. Feeling much more centered. One other thing, I'd like to tell you a story, if I could. There's a product called serapeptase. Serapeptase. It's a proteolytic enzyme, the miracle of the silkworm. And the stuff is incredible. And Michelle and I were in Seoul in around 2014. And after church, we went to a book exchange. People would bring books and just trade books. And, you know. And there's a guy named Joe who was an ex-American Marine, about 69. And he told me about this stuff. I'll be really quick. He was supposed to get a triple bypass surgery. Went to the hospital in Seoul one morning for the surgery. Doctor went on vacation, left the country, went to Hawaii or something. Totally forgot about the surgery. Welcome to Korea.
Wow.
Anyways, they send Joe back home. He gets home, and his friend turns him on to serapeptase. He starts taking it every day. And about 3 months later, he goes to a different doctor, and the doctor checks him out, and you got minimal blockage. Get out of here. You're fine. And so the serapeptase, like basically vitamin K2, it just ate all the calcium plaque and buildup in his arterial, like around the heart. And so he was fine. So I started taking it. And one thing I noticed, I used to smoke cigars, and I quit right around that time. And then living in Seoul is like a 2-pack-a-day habit, just breathing the air. It's such bad pollution. And also the Huangsa, yellow dust in the springtime, really bad 0.2 particle in your lung. Anyways, the serapeptase helped clear my lungs. And then my sinuses, I could breathe through my sinuses. So it eats stuff in your body that doesn't belong. It's good for pain and inflammation. And then one day I was feeling a bit manic, I think, and I took a crap load of it for a couple of days. And it went into my eye, and it turned like red, kind of like a Terminator, like just big red eyeball. And it ate all these swarmers and stuff, I think. And this crap in my eyeball. And then my doctor gave me these steroidal drops. He said, put them in both eyes, and I did. So I'm doing that, and then all the redness and inflammation's shrinking, and the pupils getting smaller and smaller. And suddenly my eyesight improved. I was nearsighted before. Suddenly I didn't need glasses anymore. I could see fine. And so I have my glasses over there. I seldom wear them, and I can see like far away. It's just incredible. So that helped as well, and it's good for pain and inflammation. So edema, bruising, scar tissue. It's amazing. Serapeptase. And I've been taking it for about 16 years now. Michelle, my wife, does too.
So as a counselor, as a counselor,
go ahead.
Have you, as a counselor, because you're in Canada and I don't know what, all is involved in becoming a counselor. But as a counselor, do you do research on different kinds of minerals and vitamins and things that you can, let a person know, hey, this will help you, reduce your stress, help you sleep, to be able to function at your business? Have you learned anything about this stuff and recommend it at all in your practice?
Yeah, I'm constantly watching different shows. Sean Paxton, Croxton, I forgot his name. I watched a lot of that like 12, 15 years ago. Sean Croxton, I think his name was. Great guy. And he talked a lot about vitamins. He had a lot of guests come on. And Andrew Huberman, Brett Weinstein, all kinds of different scientists. And my motto is I'll try anything once.
Right. So what would be the first thing that you would say to a business owner who comes to you and says, I'm stressed out. I don't know what to do. I need help. I mean, they're screaming for help. What would be your first interaction with that person after they've told you, what's happening in their life and in their business? What would you say to that person in the beginning?
Well, that's a good question. First, I'd let them, it depends. Some people need to vent. They need to talk it out.
Yeah.
And so I would just listen, take notes, listen, kind of be there, present with them, hear them, active listening. And then I kind of look at, it's very organic. It would depend on the individual. Of course, I would look at things like sleep, stress management. Things like taking some magnesium can be very helpful.
That's right.
Low vitamin D3 levels.
Right, which is why it's important to get outside. If you get outside for 15-20 minutes a day, that vitamin D is for you. And
B12 can help your mood. So the way I look at it, if you think of a hydrangea, do you know how the colors come? The different colors is the pH level of the plant.
Right.
Okay, so I always look at it. You're cycling upward. Yeah. So, if a hydrangea, if it's kind of like lavender, I can't remember the exact ones, but there's certain purples that are acidic, and lavender blue is base, and then the reddish, that's alkaline.
That's right.
So I try to use that as an example. You're cycling up, and so you're adding alkaline to the soil. And so you're adding positivity, love, and compassion, like you mentioned, and you're cycling up, get them to cycle upward, little changes. And then that motivates them more. That's what happened to me, because when I started losing weight, I'm like, hey, this is working. And so I go to the gym. I'm like, yeah, let's crush it. And I still have a long way to go, but I'm encouraged. And so that's how I roll. It doesn't quite answer your question, because I do take people as an individual, and they basically, they guide the conversation. What do they want to talk about? So I don't really have a plan. I kind of follow them, track and mirroring, like Roger and
right. Well, and a lot of people really do just want a place to vent, and that's okay too, because we need to get it out.
Oh yeah.
Do you recommend journaling?
Oh yeah, journaling works for some people, because I'm very, in that way, kind of pragmatic. Well, what works? Try anything once. Throw it on the wall. Does it stick? If it sticks, go for it. If it doesn't, try something else. I always say, chew the meat, spit out the bones. We're going to try different things. And when I begin, I use what's called buckshot. So I'll ask very questions that, they scatter everywhere. Well, are there addictions of some kind? Is that an issue? Early childhood trauma, is that an issue? This buckshot, I try to, ask very general questions, and sometimes they don't want to talk about it yet, or they'll just jump right in. It depends on the client,
And what about your business? How long have you been in business, and what have been the challenges that you have faced?
I've been in business 26 years. We started in South Korea, in Seoul. That's why it's called Solarium Counseling Services.
Oh, I love it.
And I have a mentor in Korea, Dr. Steve Shim, who he's pretty old now, and he actually taught counseling, LA, Philadelphia. Then he came back to Seoul, and we worked together for years. He's taught me so much about counseling. yeah, especially couples counseling, like cross-cultural communication, kind of like Asian and Caucasian couples. I've been married 26 years, my wife and I. Yeah.
Make sure you get that right.
Yeah, yeah. And we have a loving relationship. We've had our ups and downs like any couple. But I've learned a lot about cross-cultural communication, and a lot of times we don't know what we don't know, and a lot of people throw in the towel, and they don't know that this is a cultural thing that they need to be aware of, that this person, their family believes this, that's how they're brought up, and until they know that, it's going to be very frustrating. So that helps, and it's exciting to see people kind of like wake up to, oh, okay, that's why she's reacting that way. So
have you
cross-cultural communication. One last thing, Dr. Shem taught me an important thing when doing couples counseling. Always ask, how did he first meet? Their first meeting. You know why? Because I'll give you an example. I had a friend of mine. He joined this. It was like a dating site. Meet nice Korean women. He's American.
Oh, dear.
Meet some nice Korean women he wanted to date. And then this woman, she joined the site to learn English. Oh, learn English from a foreigner, like an international, like a.
Okay.
So she joined to learn English, and he joined to date. And they ended up getting married, and there were a few conflicts here and there.
Yeah.
But part of that is to intentionally look at, well, how did he first connect? The
Right.
different motivations there. And there could be anger, resentment. Like,
Could do.
I wasn't expecting this,
Right.
So
I think a lot of times,
interesting. Yeah.
right. And I think a lot of times when people first meet, you're like, I can tend to be shy. I mean, in this realm, I am very comfortable speaking,
Yeah.
but when you get me in a large group of people, I tend to shy away. And so it does depend. And I would say, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I would say that being your most authentic self from the start is the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah,
That's true. I agree totally. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And now, one thing you were talking about relationships. Now, of course, in business, we've talked about employer-employee relationship, supervisor supervisee type relationships. There's another huge relationship in business, and that's between the business person and their clients, and the sales relationship that starts from. And when you're talking about think to how you first met, that applies not only to couples, but just as much to, say, a salesperson or a business owner filling the role of a salesperson,
Right.
meeting a potential future client, and following that whole relationship as it grows into them finally signing that big contract.
Right, because you're building trust as you interact with your clients or vendors, whatever it is. You're building trust. And that's why it's, again, important to be authentic and, take the time to develop the relationships with people. In whatever industry you're in, it's really important to develop those relationships, because the more trust you instill in other people, the more they will keep coming back to you and coming back to you and coming back to you. And that way your business not only grows, but they are also going to recommend you to other people.
That's right.
So, I think you've shared a lot of amazing information here, and
Yeah, you did.
so
Thank you.
could you
Did a really,
can you tell people how they can get a hold of you in case they're wanting to work with you? And remember, he does offer that 30-minute introductory consultation for complimentary. So,
And do you see people from everywhere or just in Canada?
All over the world.
Nice. Okay, great.
Yeah, video counseling. I do have a special for your podcast listeners. When does it come out?
4 weeks from now.
Yeah, in a month.
Okay. So for 48 hours after this
October.
time- October?
Yeah, so to be around October when it comes out.
Okay. So for 48 hours from now, there's an offer on the table. Instead of just getting 30 minutes free, I'm going to be giving you 45 minutes free. And then the next 45 minutes, I'm going to charge you half price.
Oh, that's lovely.
Because instead of paying $60 US per hour, you're going to pay $30 per hour. So,
And you definitely want to talk to Yvonne. He is wonderful to talk to. He's easy to talk to. And obviously, he's a good listener as well. And so I would highly recommend him. I've made a nice friend. I've spoken with him several times now. And I highly recommend him. If you need help and you need a life coach, you know, I do the same thing. But Yvonne, you know, he does a little bit different approach. And, you know, take advantage of his offer. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. And just say offer Harpo, HARPO, like Mark's. Harpo.
Perfect.
And that's our website, harpo.ca, www.harpo.ca.
And is there any...
Yeah, I'll make sure to put that in the description and a pinned comment down below.
And the website, the email address, harpoandsoul@yahoo.ca.
Okay, great.
So Harpo and Soul, SEOUL, like the city, harpoandsoul@yahoo.ca.
And again, Jason will
They
make
can
sure
also
it's in
reach
the
me,
comments.
Yvonne@harpo.ca as well, if they want. YVON@harpo.ca.
And that information is available on your website.
It's on the
as well.
website,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
And there's a login, like a booking page. Just put Harpo, code Harpo, to get that special.
Fantastic.
But first 30 minutes, always free.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. It's great seeing you both again, and keep in touch.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I had a great time.
Thank you.
We should have you back. We should have you back.
Yeah,
So you can check in on us and our business and our stress.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You have a great podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
for having me as a guest.
And on that note, it's been great sharing this with all of you who are watching on, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions or you want to give us any feedback. Make sure to give us a like. If you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe. If you're on Rumble, follow us. And we'll keep coming back with you every 2 weeks with more podcasts. So
Yeah, thanks everybody.
you know, you're awesome. Keep shining your awesomeness to the world, and we'll be back with you again in 2 weeks. But
Thank
bye
you.
for now.
Bye.